Okay, I'm gonna update my splice video, make it a little better. Alright, for this 4-inch eye splice on polyester rope, 12 strand polyester rope, we're gonna put a 4-inch eye spliced onto the end of the rope. And for this project, you'll need electrical tape, at least a 12-inch ruler, measuring tape, anything that measures up to 10 inches. You'll need a marker, some sort of torch or lighter, a sewing needle, preferably yay thick with an eye. You will need some whipping twine, which is pretty much waxed thread. I'm trying to hold my rope out of the way there. Okay, and last but not least, you will need a 5/8 fid. Now, a fid you can order on Amazon in a splicing kit. You'll get different sizes, like, like 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2 inch. And you can get them as big as, what size is this? I think this is 3/4. No, this is actually a 7/8. I think this one's the 3/4. Yeah, that's a 3/4. A little bit bigger than the 5/8. Keep that up there. That's the other end of my rope that goes to the reel back here. I'm putting a splice on the end of this reel, and then when I put the first splice on, it's gonna get reeled up onto that reel, and then when I get it reeled onto that reel, I'll put the other splice on the other side. So I'll put 2 splices on this reel. Those reels come off of the braider. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. First, take your 5/8 fid. Well, first, before I forget, now you won't have to do this unless you just want to. If you just want to label your splice, we have to label them here because we sell these to customers. So you put the label tube on first, because if you don't put it on first, you'll have a heck of a time trying to get it over the splice. But if you want to label your rope at home, that's a good idea to put that on first. And that's just this tube shrink. It's kind of like it's got adhesive on the inside, and when you put a hot glue gun on it, it melts it, shrinks it, and then you put the clear over the top of the. You put your label over the black, and then put the clear over top of that, and melt this. It's also got a little bit of adhesive on the inside that seals the label in. It's waterproof. Alright. Okay, so first you take your fid, start from the end. Well, what we're gonna do, also, you may need a pair of these rope cutters. You can buy them at pretty much any Lowe's, Home Depot, or you can order them online. I'm gonna cut off a little bit of that. We don't need it. These are dull. What I do is I start from the end of the tape, and I go one full fid length, hold my space with my finger, and then a short mark on the next measurement. So you go one full fid length and then one short mark. That's the short mark, that's the second mark. We always use the short mark. So you'll measure out your first two picks, which will be these two. Okay, so we're gonna, and then you'll go up another fid length, another whole fid length up, and then measure measure at the second mark, and that'll be your first mark for your eye. Alright, now here's where you need your ruler. I'm gonna try to do this where it'll be easy for you to see it. Okay. Okay. That's the first mark. And what I do, I start there and I measure up about 10 inches. I fold it, and that usually gives you a 4-inch loop, but we double check it. You measure from here to the crotch at 4 inches. Let me do this first to check it. Okay, yeah, that's 4 inches. And 4 inches, usually you can take your hand and put it in there, and if you got a little bit of space, that's about 4 inches. So that's where you put your second dot, right across from your first dot at 4 inches. So it should look like that, with the 4-inch loop. All right, now back where we messed up here, this damn thing. All right, I wasn't supposed to mark that one, so I was supposed to just use these two. So we're going to kind of color that whole one in so we know that's where I messed up. But here's where you mark your stagger, where you take your picks out. Alright, so what you do is you start from the first one you mark. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a mark. And then on this one you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a mark. And then you start over. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, put a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, put a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a mark. And you start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, put a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, put a mark. and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a mark all the way to the end. So you go just 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, all the way down to the end. So for every time you make the 1 mark, you go down 5, and then when you go back to, when you start over and go back to 2 marks, you go down 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 mark. I'm just gonna leave that hanging. Sorry if it gets on your nerves. Alright. But I can fix that. There. Should have did that to start off with. Okay. Now, here's where you cut your picks out. You can use scissors or a fid cutting tool. I use scissors. So you cut the first 5 picks you marked out. And a pick is each one of these. A strand is 1 strand that goes all the way up, but a pick is each time it's braided. So I'm cutting these first 5 picks out. Then I'll pull them out. 1, 2, and sometimes you'll have that. 3, 4, 5. Okay. There's our 5 picks. Okay. Alright, now what that did was make the end smaller. So that way we can feed it back through the larger end. Staggered the end. Okay. Now you take your rope cutters and you cut at a 45-degree angle. Yep, this definitely needs a new blade. And then you take your tape and retape it. So that way it's tight and pointed. That way it can fit in the end of your fid. And that's what we're going to do next. The hole, you're going to put the end of the rope inside the end of the fid. And you're going to take your tape and you're going to tape the rope to the fid so it doesn't come out. I use a pretty good bit of tape because I don't like mine to break and have to start over. It ain't fun digging a fit out of the middle of a rope. Alright. You kind of roll it on there. I'm just having bad problems today. Okay. Now, cut this little stray off. Alright, now you find your first dot you made. Remember the first two eye marks? Alright, you go to your second eye mark. Keep the rope straight as possible. Open up the rope like this and stick the fid through the center. You want 6 strands on each side. You just keep messing with it until you get it centered. When you get it centered, it'll look like that. And then when you get it centered, pull it all the way through. You want to keep the rope straight. So that means, you know, keep it, don't have it all twisted up, just keep it straight. And you pull that dot right about here, right before the crotch, right there. And that gives you your eye. Okay, sometimes it's good to re-measure it just in case it's stretched or tightened, which it did a little bit. So, and it's okay if it's a little over 4 inches. You just don't want it under 4 inches. Now, here's the tricky part. So what you're going to do is you're going to count down 1, 2, 3 picks, and you'll see the V. It's hard to do it on camera, but 1, 2, 3, and that's where we're going to push this through. But like I did a while ago, you'll take and push up like that right there. And you'll count down 1, 2, see, 1, 2, 3, and you go through the center. The center of the rope, you want 6 picks on each side. Same on this side. You want to be able to count up 1, 2, 3. And then you want 6 on this side and 6 on this side, and go straight through. Pull it all the way through, make sure it's straight. That way, and that creates your first brummel, which will look like that. Alright, now we're going to create our second brummel. And you do the same thing, but this time you don't go through the rope, you go down the middle of the rope. So you will count down, let's see, let's get it straight. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right there. So what you're doing is you're counting down 3 picks. You're going straight through, or no, not straight through. You're going straight down the middle of the rope like that. And you just kind of thread it down the middle of the rope. If it happens to bust out the other side, just press back like that and pull back. But what you're kind of doing is pushing forward and pulling back. Push forward, pull back. Push forward, pull back. Push forward, pull back. But you want to make sure that this stays straight. You don't want this to twist up, and then you don't want to pull twisted up rope down through here. You'll make lumps. So just keep doing that until you get it all pulled through. It takes a minute. Alright, now I got it all pulled through. Make sure I got it pulled tight. Alright, that creates the second brummel. Should look something like that. It'll look a little better once I'm done. But come all the way back down here. Push that fid out the side of the rope and pull it on through. That's why you tape it, so it doesn't break. And you pull it all the way out until you see your other marks. I always pull it out to where I cut my last one. And then you'll cut those remaining marks. And this staggers your tail. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I'm done. Each mark, and they are sometimes hard to find. You just gotta look. Alright. Now, don't never cut your tape off. Always unravel it. So when you're taping it, leave yourself a place where you can unravel. And that's what I do. So I'm normally a little faster than this. I'm just, for this video, I'm going slow. Yeah, okay, now let's check for the rest of the marks. Make sure we got them all. Okay, that was all of them. So there's always going to be one that's left. So you'll pull it out. And then you'll throw that away. And you're left with this, your tail. And what that is, staggered all the way down to just one strand. And that tapers the tail. So you pull it off and you milk it back down, pull it down, and it pulls it up inside pulls the tail back up inside the rope. And then now you're gonna fix your eye. Make sure your eye is still 4 inches. It's still 4 inches. Okay, and you want to tighten it up. Take your thumb and put it in there and tighten it up. Make sure everything locks together. Because you want everything locked together so that way when you put your whip lock on, that it's all locked in real tight. Alright, and that's the next step, the whip lock. So that's what the Splice looks like. First Brummel, second Brummel, and your eye splice. Alright, now, last step, this ain't the last step, but it's getting close. Alright, now. Alright, so here's the whipping twine. And this is called a whip lock. First, you're going to take your whipping twine. You're going to make about a 8-inch loop. Fold it, back up about 8 inches. You go down to your second Brummel. Not your first Brummel, but your second Brummel. And you count down from your second Brummel, which is, you'll go 1, 2, 3 picks. And that's where you're going to start your whip. So you take your loop, lay it down on the rope, take your little tail end, stick it down through here and keep it out of the way. Take your other end and wrap around right there at your third pick, where you make your third pick down from your Brummel, and just wrap it around. You want it to keep it as straight as possible and as tight as possible. The whipping twine is got a sticky wax coat on it, so it sticks to the rope. Kind of helps it keep it straight. Now you can do this 2-ply, which means you can wrap it 2 of these at a time, and it's faster, but this way I think makes it tighter when you just wrap 1-ply. And 2-ply is just 2 whipping, just 2-ply is just when you double it up and wrap it 2 at a time, 2 strands at a time around. But this way don't take that long. And that way you can keep it nice and straight and tight. And this does take a lot of practice, so your first try is probably not gonna get it on your first try, unless you're just real good with your hands. It took me about 2 or 3 tries before I got it right. Okay, that's the last wrap. Some people count how many times they wrap it. I don't. I just make sure it's at least close to 3/4 of an inch or an inch, something like that. Alright, now you take this end that I just cut and you put it through your loop that you created before you started whipping. And then you take the end that you put through this loop and you take it and wrap it around and you pull until that goes inside there. You want it to go about midways down, about right there, You'll feel a little lump. When you get it midways down, you take your other end, wrap it around your finger, then you wrap this end back around your finger, and you pull, and it ties the knot underneath here. And that locks it in. And then now, you cut your ends off as close as you can to the rope without cutting the rope. Alright, now we're going to box thread it. So you'll get yourself about about a foot worth of twine, you know, doubled up. Then you'll find you a good needle for this, which is usually one about this size. For 5/8, you want a thicker size needle. So you'll put your twine through there. Even it up. Okay, now this could be a little tricky too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this needle with this thread, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to go straight through to the other side, and I'm going to start where I cut my ends. So I'm going to press the needle straight through, straight as I can get it, all the way through to the other side. Grab it and pull it all the way through till I have about that much slack. And I'm going to take the slack and I'm going to bend it down and hold it with my finger. And I'm going to take this where I pulled it through and pull up, and then go back through straight across again to the other side. So go straight back through to the other side, and I should come out right above this. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of pull it tight a little. All right, now here's where it gets kind of tricky. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull down tight till you have something that looks like that. And this time when I go through, I'm going to go through the middle of these two. Like the middle, of them. But I'm going to go, instead of going straight through, I'm going to go at a 45-degree angle. Because if I go straight through, I'm going to come back out right here, and I don't want that. I want to come out right here. So I'll go through the middle of them at a 45-degree angle and come out right there, like right next to it. And I pull it all the way through, and I pull tight, and then I pull, go back up, and this time we're going to go straight through. And when we go through each time, we're going between the threads. So each time I push it through the rope, I'm going between the threads. So I'll go between the threads and push in and go straight through. And that should bring me out. That should bring me out right in between this one and this one, in the center. And then I'll pull that through, and then pull it through tight. Alright, now, this will be my last stitch. So I'll pull it down tight. And then this time we'll go back through, go through the center of these at a 45-degree angle and come right back out where we started. And sometimes it's hard to push through, and I'm gonna try to get it right back out the same hole there. Yeah, see, that's what you want. You want to come out right where you started. And pull that as tight as you can. Alright, now, you're left with this and this. So twist that up. And take your scissors and cut it as close as you can. Get rid of that. Then you'll take your lighter. Don't burn the rope, but just melt that to the rope without burning the rope. The trick to it is you want to hold it as far away as possible, and that melts it. You might not see the flame, but it's doing its job. And that just melts that to the polyester like that. So it just melts it. But you don't want to melt the rope. And that is the finished product. I guess I can show you how to melt the label on. So with a heat gun, here, let's move this out of the way. Okay, cut your heat gun on. Don't melt your hair. I've done that before. Well, first, let's get our labels up here. Okay, cut your heat gun on, and you know what, I'm gonna put this one further down. Sorry. That melts it. Let's get that melted. You'll take your label. We take our labels off our orders. And then you'll wrap it around. Take your clear, do the same thing. Just keep your heat gun on low. You don't want to melt your rope. is it. You got a 4-inch eye, locked in and brummeled, whip locked. Taper looks nice and staggered, and it is labeled. If you want to see how it's reeled, watch my other video on reel and rope, and you'll see how it is reeled from that end to that end. Have a nice day. Like and subscribe.